Welcome to the Stars Align Dramas and Dreams podcast, where the infinite sky meets the starry world of dramas. We're your guides through the cosmos, from heart-stopping queer love stories to straight dramas of unexpected love.
And every unforgettable moment in between that make us swoon, laugh, and cry. And of course, we'll sprinkle in a little stardust along the way.
I'm Nixie, your drama enthusiast, ready to break down the best and sometimes most chaotic storylines, filming techniques, and the worlds we can't stop obsessing over.
And I'm Cyrus, here to delve into characters, themes, and symbolism that invoke emotions that resonate with us in powerful and lasting ways.
Each week, we'll explore the stellar journey of love, identity, and connection, one drama and one dream at a time. Today, we orbit the Series satellite, where we'll discuss everything a series has to offer. Our satellite this week is orbiting your sky.
So gather your stardust, find your spot in the stars, and let's dive in.
Let's begin by taking a look into the stars, where we take a closer look at the synopsis that captivate us and the stars on and off screen who make every moment shine. Join us this week as we stargaze into the captivating world of Your Sky. But before we can stargaze deeper, we must start by discussing the basics. Your Sky is a 2024 drama produced by iQIYI. This show can be watched uncut on iQIYI and has 12 episodes each, which is an average duration of 58 minutes, which makes it approximately 11 hours and 36 minutes long.
The synopsis reads, due to an unforeseen situation, a naive freshman and the campus's popular senior agreed to pretend to be a couple, but their fake deal begins to affect their real feelings. Adapted from the novel Your Sky by 251566. This synopsis is so bad.
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily bad, but it is practically just a tagline.
Yeah.
That is all it is. It is a one-sentence synopsis, which is not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, I don't mind taglines, but sometimes I prefer some more substance to the
Absolutely.
synopsis. When I'm trying to find a show, sometimes I'm like, I read into the synopsis, and like I said, we've said this multiple times, but we do this because it's what captivates the audience. It's how you draw someone in to watch it, and not everyone reads the synopsis. Some people do trailers, but like I said, we can't do that through this. So in synopsis base, I don't know if it would have captured my attention alone like that, having just been that synopsis.
The synopsis just gives you this show has the fake date trope in it. That's it. That's all it is.
It's also
Like,
a very cliche basic style story, and so therefore easy to fall into the mass and like get mixed up and fade out, because it's like the same concept over and over in the idea structure of how this synopsis is formed.
But like it's so cute. The show itself is so cute.
Show itself is adorable. I'm gonna use the word cringing, okay? But I
But
personally love
affectionately.
cringy shit. Yes, but affectionately. I love when a show makes me like cringe, because I'm like, oh my god, like why? Like did this just happen? Like I will literally, Cyrus has literally seen me pause a series. Or I remember one time where we were watching something, and I'm usually pretty good if I'm around someone else. Like if I'm not by myself. If I'm by myself, I'll pause it and I'll do a little freak out. But if I'm with someone else, I will hold it in long enough to not show it in front of anyone. But I've been around Cyrus forever, so I've lightened up a little bit of that and like show a little bit more. I remember one time, I don't remember what show it was we were watching. Maybe it was Lovely Writer several years back. And I don't remember what it was, but we were watching something that was that came out cringy for me. And I remember you like putting your hand on me and we're like, "Are you good?" I'm like, "I'm good."
It was Lovely
Like,
Writer.
it was Lovely Writer. I don't remember what scene it was, but like you like put your hand on, I don't remember shoulder or what it was, but you were like, "Are you good over there?" And like I was semi holding it in, but you could tell I was fixing to lose it. I was fixing to cringe very hard. And honestly, I love that feeling. Weirdly enough, I love being like, oh my god, like cute aggression, like I need to take a breather, because it's so like it's like a mix of an embarrassment, but like cute aggression all pushed into one, secondhand embarrassment, everything. And I'm just like, give me a second. Give me a second to recover, and then we'll continue. I feel like, and I think I've told Cyrus this before, I feel like I react more to cute things. Like I get emotionally reacted. Like I get emotionally like attacked in terms of like can't like I have to pause and I have to like stop because I'm like, oh my god, I gotta take a breather. Like I said already, when it's cute versus when it's like in C scenes. Like I
Or
don't know
sad.
why. Or sad. Or sad. And I don't know why that is. I can watch the other two almost with a straight face. Sometimes NC scenes I do, sometimes I can't, and sometimes it's not the same as level cringe, but sometimes I have literally muted a TV because the sound plays so much into an NC scene sometimes, and I'm just like, mute, mute.
Like, sometimes, like, if, like, they add to the story, if, like, they're symbolic, like, the characters, like, becoming closer and, like, the growth in their relationship, it's fine, but I don't have to be in there for all of it. I don't have to hear all that. I
it's
don't
it's like it's like the watching Ken Porsche in my parents' living
you're
room, and I
in the
told you you
living
don't
room.
have to
Oh
watch
my
it.
god.
And that you don't have to keep watching if you
And
don't want to
immediately I turned
watch.
around. I was like, "You know, you're right." Like, this portion of our discussion is gonna make me seem like a hypocrite later on, but it's okay, that's fine. I am what I am.
I'm curious to see what you mean by that.
We'll get into it.
Oh, I'm sure we will. The stars that guide your sky shine brightly. Let's meet the cast and crew who make it shine. The main couple is Moonfa, who is played by Thomas Tirat and Kong Kong Pom as Tirak. This show has kinda two side couples. Real and Hia are played by U Tanabom and Sab Wadapong, respectfully, while Po Sopakon plays Pun Lee and Titi Wampichit plays Glajai. La Natawat directed the show as well as Battle of the Riders, Naughty Babe, and more. Your Sky was produced by Ofshan Kichipat, who was also a producer on Bed Friend and The Middleman's Love, was the director of Cutie Pie, and also worked as a screenwriter for Why Are You? The two screenwriters of this show are Jung Jing Wana and Wanapat Loklon Tanon. Jung Jing Wana has a prolific screenwriting history, working on so many titles including Thorn Type, Lovely Rider, Second Chance, Unforgotten Night, Bed Friend, Hidden Agenda, I Feel You Linger in the Air, The Middleman's Love, and Battle of the Writers. Wanapat Lokron Tanon was also a screenwriter for Bed Friend and I Saw You in My Dream.
And while there were a lot more talented people who worked on the show, we unfortunately do not have the time to talk about everyone, but we would like to further highlight some of our thoughts about the cast and crew. I did forget about, one of the screenwriters also working on Lovely River when we talked about it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Mere chance, because I absolutely forgot. But fun little coincidence. I've, like, briefly talked about in a previous, Series Satellite that, like, there are just some actors that, like, anytime they're they grace my screen without my prior knowledge, they make me so happy. I experienced that in this drama with Tonum. It's been so long since I've seen that man, but oh my gosh, is he so precious.
I felt the same way when he showed up because I was so shocked because I was like, boy, I haven't seen you since triage. I was like, where did you come from, man? You popping up out of the blue.
He was
Actually,
also in Remember Me.
was he in Remember
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
Me? You know what? He was in a lot more than I remember him being in. maybe, maybe because he played such a good character in triage that I forget when he shows up as other characters in other dramas because I just looked at his discography and just found out that he was also in Cutie Pie and Love in the Air as one of the classmates.
Oh, yeah,
And I
one
remember
of
now.
yeah,
I
Rain's,
remember.
friends. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I very well remember that now. Now that I see that on his list, I was like, what? I was
Was
thinking
he
I haven't
in
seen him.
Remember Me?
He wasn't Remember Me, but
Okay.
he was literally a guest role. He was a phone salesman in episode 10. And you remember that better than him playing an actual supporting lead in like Love in the Air or in Cutie Pie as literally Clua's friend.
What can I say? This happens
It happens a lot actually.
with me, yeah. We have a, upcoming example in a future episode that will also be this will also be brought back up.
Yeah, we have a lot of characters like that will come up in a series, and I'm like, "Oh my god, bro, I haven't seen you in forever. Where you been?" Turns out they had literally been in, like, previous series I've seen.
Yeah.
But I think that's also just my fault. I consume so much that I don't know if you guys have seen the memes, but I've definitely seen the memes where people make things where they're like, when they're like watching a amazing series, like, oh my gosh, the series was so great, watched it in a whole night, and someone's like, name the characters' names. Can't do it. Don't remember their names. That happens to me so much. I'll binge something so quickly after I finish it. I'm like, I don't know what I remember, to be honest.
I'm like, I have the opposite problem where, like, if you like, this has happened, like, when like, we will be, like, just having a regular conversation, and Nixie will be, like, talking about a show, and I'm like, "Yeah," and then inserts character name here, and she's like, "Yeah."
This is off topic. We gotta get back.
Yeah, we do.
Back into it. I just want to say, out of anyone in this show, I remember very vividly having Poor come on screen as Pun Lee, and immediately my brain go, "Dear God, that's a handsome man!" Like, oh my god,
Valid thought.
like
Valid thought.
I do want to preference and let everyone know that me and Cyrus have the mindset where it's like, I don't think we've ever like, I think we both have agreed in terms. I don't think we have like ever like sexual attraction to anyone, but aesthetic attraction, as in like, damn, they look so fine, like it's so pretty, like there's a huge difference here. And it's just like you're like a pretty little diamond, like, you know, I just want to look at you. That's all I want to do, like,
Yeah.
that's
I am Arrow Ace and Sapphic, so anytime I look at a man and it's just like, "That's a pretty man," it's purely aesthetic. Purely aesthetic. And Poor is a very pretty man.
really. When we were trying to decide who to do for the promos when I started those, I immediately was like, let's do Poor. Can we do Poor? Let me do Poor. Can we do Poor? Let me do Poor. And TT, like, please. And also to find out, yes, obviously they got done. That's who got picked. But also, I'm even more happy to have learned that there is a series hopefully coming out with them as a
You're
main
welcome.
couple. And I'm so ready. Yes, thank you for letting me know about that, because I actually didn't at the time. And I'm so ready for it already. But yeah, I just had to say, Poor is a handsome man. He, he looks, he's really fun. That was real southern there.
It was.
I feel like my fine came out way too southern all of a sudden.
You know, we are who we are. We can't change that.
It's time to move on, I think. I think that's the sign to wrap it up.
We've set the stage, and now it's time to delve deeper into Your Sky. Spoilers ahead as we start with character constellations.
By mapping out character constellations, we chart the growth of our favorite characters, exploring how they shine brighter over time, evolve, and form unique constellations with the characters around them.
The characters in this show, every one of them, of like the mains, all the ones we care about, are so cute.
I love how you keep rewording that.
We're
At
like,
first, you're like, every character, wait, the ones that we care about, wait, the mains that we care about. I was like, girl, why does this keep getting more
'cause, like,
defined as we go?
I went to say it and I'm like, wait, I don't really like Tilak's parents. I don't like Mike. I was like, in my head, I was like, there's actually I don't like that one either.
And so, like, you're like, let's
So I'm gonna like make this to where
I'm gonna
I'm just
shape this
talking
better.
about Fa and Tilak and Real and Hia and Punli and like their friends and Galji. Like I like them. Everyone else.
Speaking of Glajai. Okay, actually, I just realized you never actually said his name. I think I misheard one of the names because you said Gali, and I was like,
I did mean that.
you
I
mean
just
okay,
can't say
Glajai,
it.
okay, because you threw me off, and I was like, are we talking about Glajai? Glajai? And so, did he go by Glai or Jai? He went by Jai, didn't he?
I think so.
Short-wise? Can we talk about how this man got brought into the story? Because I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of wild. I felt like we were getting side quested when Pun Lee would seek out Glajai, and I was like, insert insert friend romance, like insert brother romance, and I'm like, why are we jumping into this? I don't know why I thought that was funny to me. I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. Loved their couple. It's so cute, but it did feel like an additional like side quest from the main story, which was interesting aspect and way to put something into a story because like he was introduced literally they were chilling at a table. Comes to sit down next to them and they're like, why is he's here? And Tidak was like, yeah, I invited him to come play with us. I don't remember what they were doing. They're playing some game, I think. And
It was Uno.
yeah, Uno. Yeah, they were playing Uno. And they had just invited this insert random character here that we had yet to have properly meet. I don't think we properly meet
No,
Gajai
that was the
all.
first time we meet him, and we're just expected to be like, oh yeah, this dude's been here the entire time. We know who he is. What's his deal, and we don't. But
I'm not
it's
complaining
great.
at
He's
all.
great.
I want to say I'm
Oh,
not
absolutely
complaining.
not.
But that was an interesting aspect because he just like shows up, and then they disappear for a while. Like occasionally he would show back up in the friend group, here and there, or just he would just completely go missing. And then we have like the bakery thing or whatever. I don't remember where they were at. It was some type of restaurant. It was a restaurant. I think it was like a bakery or a study or something. And Punali with his little Riz comes in, sits on the other side of him, and is like, "Oh my god, this is
That comes
such
out
a
of
coincidence."
nowhere.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I say it comes out of nowhere. He does essentially become like a relationship coach for his older
Mhm.
brother and best friend.
Yes.
So I guess there was
Yes.
hints.
And that's kind of funny to me. I'm not gonna lie. I think it took me a little bit to make the connections, and I think that's just because my brain was like, I don't know if it was just wasn't inputting the information correctly when I was reading the subtitles, because it actually took me, I think, either a little bit into the episode or an episode later when it was first introduced that Punli's brother was Moonfa. I was like, I was confused because like when he called him up and they were talking about that and like, hey, it's your brother and stuff like that, and I don't know what it was in my brain, but it like took me a second to be like, oh, so they're actually brothers. Like I
Yeah.
don't know why, but they sometimes didn't act like brothers, but then they did. Like, no, don't get me wrong, their sibling relationship is fabulous. They do act like brothers, but in the beginning,
It's beautiful.
something about that threw me off. And like even when there was this scene where Tirak was trying to get the shirt back in the locker, and Punli like tells, I forgot who it was, another character. It wasn't really he. I don't remember who. One of the other team members, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And they're like, Punli's like, my brother was missing something. I'm trying to find his locker." And like, I think even then, I was still trying to wrap my head about, was this a lie? I thought it was a legit lie. Like I was like, and the person just believed it. It took me until a little bit later to actually fully make the connection. I don't know what it is in my head, but it just took a minute to make the full connection that they were siblings.
That's
And I
interesting.
don't know why. I don't know why. Like something in my brain just didn't click fully. But I will say, so brother relationship wise, I adore the scene where Punli pretty much immediately catches on that Munfa
yeah.
and Tirak are lying about their relationship, because he's like, you know what, call him out to go eat desserts of all things, because I know my brother doesn't like desserts. Let's go
this
to
is
a
your
restaurant he
favorite
doesn't
dessert.
like. Yes,
Huh. Interesting.
I was obsessed with the character behavior there, because like the way
Yes.
it was such a sibling move, and it was even more hilarious
Absolutely.
that Moonfa, who's obviously very intelligent, went through with it, probably knowing very well that his brother knew. It was like, I know you know situation, that he didn't like sweets. So I don't know why he thought he could deceive his own brother eating those sweets. But like after the others left and they believed that they were dating, Punli's like, you want to tell me something? Like clearly, and like literally just staring at his brother,
Like,
and his brother
literally
just like
pulls
looks
him aside.
defeated. Like just like, actually his brother didn't look defeated. His brother just was like he accepted, because he was just like, yeah, I know. he's like, I know you know that this isn't real. But he's like, I hope you know though, I want it to be real. Like
I will say, the entire time they're at that table, and like, we know that Lee knows, that Fa knows, that Lee knows, and like all of that. But like the look that Fa gives Lee at that table the entire time, is just like, please don't mess this up for me. Do not ruin this chance for me.
Like, he did not want to lose this chance at all.
I do want to just slightly sprinkle in how much I absolutely adored Real and Hia. I
Same.
I don't know what it is about them. I love them. Like the friends to lovers aspects of this was mwah, so good.
Chef kisses.
Mwah.
I love the subtlety when he starts falling for Hia.
Oh yeah,
Because
it's
there
great.
was something about like the computer scene, for example, when he was trying to work and he kept like leaning over him and like messing with him, and like there's this like tension that was building up, and I loved that scene because
It's
the
so
tension for
good.
that was so good. Because I was like, oh, y'all are gonna be a side couple. I see it. I see you. Like I was so ready for it when they hinted it. I was like, let's go, let's go.
The way they're so emotionally dependent on each other, because anytime
Mm-hmm.
that they're even in like the slightest inkling of a fight and like don't want to be around each other, they're both so pouty.
Yes.
And like everyone is just like, where's the other of you? Why are you not glued to each other?
Also, because of that, I would not have been surprised if no one was surprised when they got together,
No,
especially
absolutely not.
Moonfa. Especially Moonfa. Also, speaking of that,
I bet
any
Moonfa like celebrated. Like finally, like y'all figured y'all's stuff out.
listen, was I not the only one when I watched not the confession scene, the acceptance scene? I don't know, the scene where they actually became a couple. I could not have been the only one sitting there watching this scene and going, Moonfall's right over there. Moonfall's right over there. My
Yeah.
dudes, you're talking loud enough for Moonfall's right over there. Like he's literally on the table away from them. Like literally just a little bit of ways. And they still kept going. They kept going. Cyrus, they kept going. And I was like, guys, I need you to chill. You're literally becoming a couple in front of Moonfall's presence. Like, feel free to do that. But at the same time, I hope you're aware that the sexual attraction was also building too. So I was like, if you're gonna start doing something, take a step out because there's someone else there.
But to be fair, how many times has Moonfa by this point, Moonfa and Tirak paraded their little quote unquote fake relationship, which was never fake, in front of them?
Well, for starters, they had to parade it. That was the whole point of the fake relationship. They gotta make it look real, especially in front of their own friends. But it was still hilarious to me that in that scene, they were absolutely oblivious of Moonfall right over there. I was waiting for a scene to see Moonfall reacting, but instead we just get him still chilling at the computer.
Yeah.
Like there's no way this man did not hear that entire thing play out. There's no way. I like part of me wants to be like, I can't believe he was unfazed, but the other part of me is like, I understand why he was unfazed. He saw it coming.
But also the letter that Hia writes for Real is like, oh, I love that. That was really cute.
It was cute.
Also, he is just a diva, and we love him for that.
We do. His personality was
I
amazing.
adore a diva. Mike's character in this series, hated him. Oh, awful. Did not like him at all.
He did some real questionable things.
Yeah, the amount of times this absolute baby of a man goes and whines to his mother. Oh, I've never wanted to strangle a fictional man, that much. It's like, what
That's
do
a
you
lie.
mean?
I'm positive you've wanted to strangle other characters before, but proceed.
Hey, that is absolutely correct. The amount of times in my in my in my notes, not specifically for this one, but a different show that I'm currently watching. I was like, if I that is that's it. In all caps. Finding a way to punch a fictional character has made it to the top of my to-do list.
That's been at the top of my list. Next to befriend some of them. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, I would love to hang out with some of these friend groups. But like, oh, I couldn't stand every time O went to like whine to his mother and like the way he wanted to completely destroy Munfa's complete life, like his entire life, because he can't take no as an answer or can't take a hint. But
Both.
the entire
Both.
problem was that at the beginning, Tirak could not tell him no. And that was the entire problem. But he gave plenty of hints. Plenty of hint. Oh, I couldn't stand him.
Having explored character constellations, let's shine a light on cosmic chemistry where new stars await.
Some connections are written in the stars, others are built on screen. In Cosmic Chemistry, we dive into the magnetic pool between actors, exploring how their chemistry fuels the drama and propels the storyline to new heights. And this is where I'm immediately jumping into it, where I'm going to call myself out on being a hypocrite. Because this show, I went into it, as you do, like I do most of the time, without really paying attention to like where it comes from, like who's producing it, like, and it most of the time without reading the synopsis or watching the trailer. But like this show does a wild thing in making you forget it is a Demundi show until the very second that you are starkly and very quickly reminded that it is a Demundi show. And what I mean by that is like beautifully shot and crafted NC scenes because
What?
they're they're shot so pretty that, and like,
Their
again,
NC scenes are
hypocritical.
so pretty. I'm just gonna say, you're mentioning how pretty their NC scenes are.
They're shot pretty, okay?
They
Fight
are, they
me.
are, they are, they are. I get it, I get it.
Episode 8 is is wild. Does nothing in comparison of episode 12's. But episode 12 we have a character like switch, and like you're like, where did this come from? But at the same time you're like, this makes sense.
Sounds like you're uncomfortable talking about the NC scenes you brought up.
They had to be talked about. This is my only outlet for this stuff. This is only like strengthened from like watching like their out of series content, but like Thomas's eyes, like the way Thomas looks at Kong and the way Munfa looks at Tidok is everything to me. Like genuinely, it specifically in the series, it sells their entire relationship to me because like there's no way a man looks at anyone like that and has no feelings. And I'm talking about from episode 1.
Oh no, no, yes. Because like they did a good job selling the romance for this series.
Oh, yeah.
I agree, and it's in the eyes. I
Mhm.
absolutely agree with you when you say that because the moment I saw the first meeting between Munfa and Tirak, I immediately was like, "This man's in love. This man's been in love. I don't know how long he's been in love, but he's been in love because Tirak spilled the coffee on Munfa and then was freaking out because of all the stories about how tough Moonfall is, and Moonfall's just like staring at this man with hard eyes, and he's just like, "No, it's okay.
It's
Like,
fine. Like,
it's okay. You could spill something else
you're
on me."
perfect. Wild. That was wild. Foul, almost, actually.
I'm sorry. Sometimes I have really bad thoughts, really dirty thoughts, and they come out.
That was so out of pocket. Like, what are you talking about? Says the one who, like, brought up NCCs in the first place. A bullet point in my notes for episode 2 is, like, I'm like, also obsessed with the visible soft spot that Fa has for T-Rock. Because
Mhm.
it's so visible. Like, you can just he melts every time that boy comes into his peripheral vision. And it's beautiful. Jumping back to I again can't believe I'm the one who keeps doing this. Episode 8's NC scene was very cute, very meaningful for their relationship and their confrontation of it, like feelings being real. But episode 12's cannot tell you how many times I almost threw my phone. Was like, what are you talking about? At one point,
You mean when T Rock was the one
yes,
taking the reins, essentially?
yes,
Because
yes.
oh my gosh, he was not innocent for that.
At one point, fully just calls Munfa Munfa, not Pifa, not P Munfa, just Munfa, and I'm like, I think I actually did throw my phone. fully. You're like, what was that?
He dropped the honorifics and then you threw your phone.
I don't remember the exact wording, but essentially it was like, "You're mine, Munfa," and he's, like, just completely struck, and he's like, I am yours." And I'm like, "These
No,
boy"
I
like,
remember what that's not what it was. He was like, "I can't believe
"Yeah,
this
I can't
handsome
believe you're
man
mine,"
is
and he's
mine."
"I'm yours."
And Manfa was like, "You're right,
You're completely right.
and I am all
I
yours."
am
I was
yours.
like, at first, I'm not gonna lie, I thought that was a little vain until he added the last part. Because after being called handsome, he was like, "You're right." I was like, "What?" And then he added the "I am yours," and I was like, "Oh, okay, okay, okay." I needed that second half because at first I was like, "Damn." Manfa said, "Yeah, I'm fine."
I mean, he
He
is, like, it's
is.
he wouldn't be lying,
No, he wouldn't have.
and, like, the way this Manfa just, like, completely melts, and he's like, "Yeah, this is it. Like, I'm completely here. Like, I am." And he like, Tila got Manfa down bad. It's bad. Like, that man's pathetic. Affectionately, of course,
Oh,
but
yes, yes.
that is a
All meant with
pathetic man.
infection. He is useless in the hands of Tirak because he is only there for Tirak.
Oh, absolutely. We've journeyed through character constellations and cosmic chemistry, but now let's explore the story in the stars for one last perspective.
Some stories are written in the stars, others are written by the twist of fate. The story in the stars explores the plot in detail, diving into character arcs, dramatic climaxes, and the conflicts, both necessary and unnecessary, that shape the narrative. Can I point out something very random, but like
Mhm.
felt like unnecessary, but at the same time never happened? You know, there's a scene where O goes complaining to his mom about the whole situation with Tirak and how he can't stand Mingfa, and his mom like tries to calm him down. I think this was before the bar situation to where she was like, "I told you not to do anything."
Yeah.
Where she was like, "Okay, just don't do anything. I'll handle Moonfa,"
Yeah.
and seemed pretty serious about it. And then newsflash, not a thing happens on her part. Not a thing. I was like scared. I when she did
I
that and
was too.
when she delivered that and it seemed like a pretty powerful like scene to establish something that she would do, I was like, okay, so something's going to happen on her part that she's going to do to Moonfa. And then nothing happens. And the only thing that happened is O ends up doing his own thing and getting in trouble, and then that was kind of like it. And I was like, what was the whole point of that scene? And having her say that without a delivery to that promise of that, like maybe it was just being a mom and being like trying to like put her son in a place and like
De-escalate,
keep
yeah.
him from doing anything. But at the same time, story plot wise, that is such a powerful thing for a character to say,
Mhm.
and nothing happened. And so I was like, what is that? What was that?
But, like, to be fair, a lot of, like, the conflicts in this series made me confused, if
Me
I'm being
too.
so for real. 'Cause, like, even, like, the central, like, beginning, like, inciting incident type almost of, like, where they're at O's birthday party and straight up drugged the trio. That was so overlooked. They got away with that like, too much
Too
because that was
easily.
wild. Yes, too easily. And then, like, Fa just I, like, don't wanna say, like, he just randomly showed up because it was his bar and restaurant, but, like, he shows up and is just like, "Step away from the boy." He is so uncomfortable, and, like, I was just like, "Why does that matter to you?" There's a million things that Fa could have said in that moment, and he went with, "Actually, he's my boyfriend, that's why it matters to me." And I'm just like, "You could have just said you're being a creep. I'm kicking you out of my bar. Like, you are not allowed to be here anymore because it's my business. I have the authority to do that." But no, went past all of the logical answers to jumping straight to, yeah, this boy I've been crushing on secretly for a year is my boyfriend, therefore that's what matters. And I'm just like, I'm glad you stuck up for him in your own way, but there was a lot of different answers you could have gone with, buddy.
I do think that his answer to "he's my boyfriend" was probably said out of more of an emotional impulse. Both a
Yeah.
combination of jealousy and overprotectiveness his
Fair.
crush. So,
Fair.
as wild of a thing to say, because yes, I agree, it was a wild thing to say out of every option he had, especially as the boss of the bar. So you literally have authority to kick him out, and usually use that authority. But instead, his emotional side got came in, and he was like, "Yeah, he's my boyfriend, and will be my boyfriend, like and forever." Because like that's what I'm gonna take it as it was an emotional like impulse of a word choice of words.
That's fair. It was just something that, like, I was like, there are so many options.
But if we're pointing out things that didn't make sense to me, is I actually like the dad's arc, but I was confused by it because why did we get introduced with the dad watching a Y series, so a
Yeah.
BL series, and he's like, "What is this?" And T-Rock is like, "Yeah, that's like a really popular like Y series. It's like it's boys love,"
Shout out Naughty
and
Babe.
yeah, right? And the dad's like, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "Oh, that's kind of interesting." Like he was interested in it. And then come out his son is ends up in a relationship with a guy and all of a sudden he had a problem with it, which I get in retrospect is something that can actually happen. I can fully see that being something that someone does, but it was still felt weird because we almost had this comfort in what we were expecting from his family. And then it was like an Uno reverse card and his dad ended up being very like, no, this isn't happening. I'm trying to, help you in your life and for your future. Is like, you're not gonna be in a relationship with him. I was like, what?
That that frustrated me so much. I will say, like, that's the, like, family dynamic was something that I wanted to bring up, specifically in this section because of, like, it being, um, or conflict related. When we are first introduced fa to T-Dot's family, and, like, they're having, like, this meal of some sort, I don't remember which meal it is, but we're introduced to them and, like, they're all in like, they seemed fine. They seem happy, like a happy little family. Like, this should be cute. They should be have a cute little dynamic, like, this should feel cute. But, like, something about it, like and, like, this is in my notes about, like, how, like, it immediately felt like everyone was walking on shells almost, and, like, it was, like, almost seeming like everyone in this family is expected to just internalize their feelings to be able to put on a performance of this happy family that they're trying to portray, and, like, I clocked that immediately.
I was gonna say it's so interesting that you said that because my immediate thing that I noticed, and to me, you said dinner. To me, the immediate thing I noticed was literally the introduction of the actual family when they were coming through, like the dad coming through the door and like almost this comedic like style. I was like, all
That's
of
what
a
I
sudden
meant.
the editing completely flipped. We went from the normal editing that bills have, and even though it is a comedy, to a certain extent, the editing almost took a sitcom slapstick turn when the family were being introduced. And I was like, what just happened? Did we? Because it literally felt like almost an American style, like intro scenes in sitcoms. And like when the family like comes through doors and like it's up close and like they're doing something really silly. And I'm like, is this almost like you said, it was like they're walking on eggshells. I wasn't going to word it eggshells, but that's still an accurate way to describe it. I was going to say essentially what you were ending yours in. And that was the idea of it's like they were portraying a perfect image of a family
Mhm.
in a very cute, like I was gonna say like how Americans do theirs, in their sitcoms, and that's like a very like well put together family kind of thing. And that's I agree. It was awkward. It was
Mhm.
weird because at first I was like, it's cute, but it's like, why is it so cute and so sitcom-y? Especially when the rest of it hasn't been as strict in terms of like the comedy editing style. Because like I'm not even
Absolutely.
kidding when I say the editing flipped when they
Mhm.
did that scene. It was
Yeah.
such a U-turn. It was within the same genre of comedy, but it was much more of the comedic editing and
Mhm.
close-up shots and like it's just the acting style was way more expressive all of a sudden and I was like, what's going on with this family here?
Like, this is performative for a reason.
And so that was interesting.
Having, like, introducing him that way, very effective because like,
Mhm.
especially, like, when later on, like, the facade that they're putting on, like, crumbles when, they find out that Tidok likes a boy. Like, Fa is a boy.
Mhm.
Like, Pifa is a boy. And which is an assumption that his father did not make. Um,
I don't know how. I think the lines were there. I think I think the dots were there, he just had to draw them, and he just didn't, he chose not to.
like, Munva had, like, been around.
Yes.
Like, maybe, like, not specifically, like, in that context, but, like, he was around. He
He
was friends
was.
with the Babe, and then, like, he started hanging around with T-Doc. I will say, like, I do appreciate the fact that we did get, like, a reluctant family, but, like, I feel like they could have done it better. Because like,
Mhm.
even the at the end, it didn't feel I feel like we, like, reverted back to, like, the, "Oh, we're putting on a facade" type thing, where, like, I genuinely like, I have written in my notes, yeah, this is what I was saying about the mom. Her saying that the perfect family isn't something to push on T-Rock right now, and at this moment, he needs more experience. All that phrasing just didn't sit well with me. It still felt a bit odd. Honestly, at, like, episode 12, like, we start with the grandpa being in the hospital, like, Fa finding the grandpa outside, passed out and, like, at the hospital. And Rock's dad was like they made him sit outside of the room at first, and then, like, his the mom was just like, "You've gotta, like" he was the one who, like, kind of found him and, like, called the ambulance, like, "You've gotta at least say something to him." Like, was there, like, kind of was an apology between Fa and Teok's dad, but, like, it wasn't great. 'Cause, like, he never really took accountability for the complete outburst he had. 'Cause, like, the family apologized to him for his outburst. That grinded my gears.
Apologize to
And,
who?
like, the family, like, his mom, Tirak, and his sister all kind of, as a group, apologized to, like, Tirak's dad about, like, the complete outburst that his dad had, like, immediately after it happened when they went back in the house after Fa had left. I wasn't completely done about the mom in episode 11. It's like they continued having this conversation about trying to get the dad to just be okay with it. And, like, they end that conversation, like, they wrap it up kind of with, like, the mom sitting down saying, like, "I know you're disappointed, so am I." And I'm just like, "What do you mean? How are you" like, I don't know. It was just something about it that oh, I can't verbalize it because like, that would make me recontextualize a lot of, like, my personal life that I get worked up in fiction about to try to avoid. I can't use fiction and media as a coping mechanism if the media makes me question my situation and things like that. So I this is not a good day for me. But, like, even though, like, I've completely just talked about how I didn't like his family all that much, I his grandpa, I don't know if
Yes.
it's because his grandpa reminds me so much of my own
He
in a way.
did! He did remind me of your grandpa.
Like, he's so chill. Like, the poor old man just wanted someone to play chess with him so he
And the
wouldn't feel
man immediately
lonely.
clocked it too.
Oh, yeah.
Immediately clocked that Moonfa and T-Dot were together. And he's like, oh, that's cool. Let's keep playing chess.
It was precious. I really liked him.
Which is so wild because in most series, it's the older generation that has
Mhm.
problems. And so I loved that dynamic. I love seeing how it wasn't the older generation, it was like the middle parent generation that actually had a problem rather
Yeah.
than the grandparents.
This is I meant to bring this up earlier when we were talking about kind of like it feels too late now, but I don't Totem's character, I don't remember his name. Like got Babe, his like Rock's older sister, the puppy for
Mm-hmm.
like their anniversary. That was another like point that I was already convinced that this family like wasn't as like clear cut as they tried to present. But, like, the immediate reaction that she had about, like, "How dare you? Like, you can't do this." And, like, yes, it's not exactly great to just spring a responsibility on
Mm-hmm.
someone like that, but I'm like, this is not about that. Like, that's Like, if it was about that, that would be fine. But this is about upsetting the facade. Because, like, as soon as, like, her dad was just like, "It's okay." Like, he told me about this. She was all about it. And I'm just like,
I remember that.
I 'cause, like, I am like, that was another thing I immediately clocked about, like, how, like, this isn't about the dog. This is about dad's reaction about the dog.
Another thing that I personally loved about the family's dynamic, both Munfaz and Tidak, was that I actually loved how actually now that I think about it, now that I'm remembering all of a sudden as we're talking, I actually loved that Tidak's family was presented to be this very cute family, and then they ended up having problems, ended up not having acceptance. It was the opposite of what you expected from when you were introduced for them, versus the rich family of Munfaz
Yes.
being perceived in T-Rock's mind as like this higher up snobby kind of like you can't date my
Mhm.
son, you're not worth it. What you would have presumed the homophobic would have come from ends up being absolutely
This
supportive and
the
sweet
cutest.
parents. Oh,
The
they were
cutest.
so
Oh my
cute.
god.
And so I loved that it was like it was the opposite of what you expected to have
Yeah,
happened between the two
mhm.
families.
When, like, we are even, like, before T-Dog meets them, like, when, both, Fa and Lee, like, go to Hong Kong? I think it was Hong Kong. Um, about
His
Punley, like, they're
dad
sitting down talking. Oh, yeah, it was because like, his dad hurt his
his
wrist.
dad hurt himself and the mom freaked out and was then called the
Yeah.
sons and the dad was like, I literally like just sprained my wrist. Like you why did you like to call the sons?
Like, they got family time, so it was cute. Like, the night like, they were, like, in, like, their room at night, like, just talking, like, family talk, and Punley was just, like, hinting at the fact that, like, Fa has a crush. Like, Fa's got this little situationship going on, and, like, both parents were immediately just, like, jumping on that and, like, wanting every detail.
Yes.
Like who are they? Like, what are they like? And I'm just like, "Oh, that was so cute." And then, like, when Fa, like, met them after he got past his, "They're gonna hate me because 'cause I'm poor."
Oh my god, his that was in a hilarious scene. I remember seeing that and be like, this has to be fake. This has
Yeah,
to be his imagination. I was like, this can't be real.
absolutely. When, like, they have, like, their meeting of, like, the parents meeting, T-Doc, like, there's at one point a cut to Lee, and, like, again, bullet point in my notes of Lee's dejected, "Looks like I'm not her favorite anymore," reminds me so much of Leo and Leon's parents towards Fiat and Don't Say No.
Yes.
'Cause, like,
Oh my gosh, I didn't
his
even think about
their
that. You're
parents
right.
immediately loved T-Dot to death. Like, it was instantaneous, and you can see it on Lee's face of like, "Well, like, I don't think there was much favoritism between me and Fa, but, like, definitely T-Lock is definitely the favorite son already."
As we prepare to leave the stars behind, let's gather at the stardust of our experience and share our final reflections on Your Sky. I will say, Your Sky is an adorable series to watch.
Mhm.
And
Absolutely.
while I will admit, I think it is one of the ones that would blend in a little bit
Mhm.
with some of the others because its storyline is very cliche. It was still enjoyable to watch. I
It
enjoyed every
was.
minute of it. I sped so quickly through that series. I remember not starting two. I was watching two series at the time. I remember having starting both Your Sky and Love a Divine Tree. I had started Love a Divine Tree because I needed to catch up with it because it was an airing series. It had literally just dropped, what was it, like 7 episodes on the first day and was two, and I was trying to catch up to it to be on top of it. And one night I was like, you know what? Let's hurry up and like start Your Sky. I was like, I need to start that series. And so I pause Love a Divine Tree. I get like what 2 episodes into Love a Divine Tree, and then I start the first episode of Your Sky. By the end of that night, I was at episode 3. I was like, I was supposed to watch a single episode and then go back to Love a Divine Tree, and I could not. It was so cute. I was like, I haven't had this cringe that I love so much in a while. And so I was living for every moment that was happening in Your Sky watching that series. And I couldn't put it down. It was it was up my alley, let me put it that way, of a
Yeah, this
series out of
I feel like
cuteness.
this absolutely. I feel like the show it can be like not could be like some people's like not their cup of tea. This show was for us. Like
It was. It was.
it's very cute. And, like, it also I don't know if, like, it's just me who had this feeling, but it feels very return to form almost in some
Mhm.
aspects. Like, it has, it's definitely, like, a modern show in, like, the way it is shot and, like, stuff, and, like, the some aspects of, like, this script writing, but, like, it has elements and a feel of, like, nostalgic
Mhm.
early BL and, like, some of the tropes and stuff.
And I don't know if some of that came down to the fact that we kind of flipped a little bit back into the college setting that we used to
Mhm.
get so much.
So much.
At least it wasn't strictly college because it was I think the reason
Mhm.
why it was more of a touch nostalgic instead of a dive back in nostalgic was because of the fact that it wasn't focused around the college so much.
They were in art school.
They were in art school, and for starters, as someone that went to an art school, I was obsessed watching them be in a college for art. Like, I was in a college for now, I had a different college, so it was drastically different experience, but it felt cool. I feel like I had an opportunity to take my experience and, like, do this little comparison, judgy thing, watching them be in an art school, and even more on top of that, Moonfa's group being in film because I'm not sure T-Doc was in film.
Yeah, they felt more like fine art.
Because I don't unless they were like because they're freshmen, they were taking the first beginning
Yeah.
courses because even I still had to take arts classes because,
Mhm.
that just beginning like you literally learn basic forms of art. Sometimes it was just literally a color class like it still falls under film and stuff. So I don't know what his degree was, but I know Munfaz was film because they had to shoot an MV, which newsflash, can I say something that I meant to say earlier? This should have been said in I think the second section where we were talking about like on screen, off screen, like the chemistry stuff.
Chemistry, yeah.
Can we talk about the fact that there is an existing outtake kiss scene with them in the beach when they were filming the MV quote unquote for the series
Yes.
that they kissed, and when they got done, the director was, "I told you not to kiss."
Yes.
And it had to be taken out because of the sake of the MV aspect storyline for what they were making, the students were making in the story. They couldn't have that kiss scene there. So it's funny to me that there was that. Also,
Oh, absolutely.
and so I'm sorry I had to bring that up. That's a little snippet thing. But back to what I was saying. So it was so fun for me to low-key judge them. Now, I will say I think their campus life was so much better than mine because mine was during COVID, and so it was a lot harder versus how they got to experience their life because I didn't get to I got some group projects, but not to the extent to which they got to do group projects, and so I kind of felt like I was judging my own life more than I was judging theirs. So I was a little bit
Yeah, like
devastated about that, but it was still so fun to see.
we got a beach frolic from their MV shoot. We also got a second beach frolic later on,
We
which was fun.
did.
But since you've mentioned that and it it brought something back to my head.
Okay.
In episode 6, which is the MV shooting, I've got 2 bullet points in my notes. There's stuff in between it, but I have "kiss" in all caps, exclamation point, in parentheses, canonically scripted because it was for the MV. And then they kiss later on in
Yes.
the episode, and I have "kiss" again, all caps, exclamation point, and then I have canonically unscripted in parentheses. I wrote that way as just amusement to myself, and I felt like it should be it was good enough to be shared. But
Yes,
very
that's
fun.
so funny. So, yes, Your Sky was such a cute
It's
series.
very cute.
It really, even if it blends into all my other dramas I've seen in my brain, it still lived up to itself in the moment, watching it and
Yeah.
really enjoying it.
I will say I was having a rough a rough time out here in fiction uh media from, like, all the shows that, like, I was watching for this series for this podcast,
Mhm.
a lot of like, most of the BLs that we have done so far, and even, the wuxia, shanxias of Nixie's picks are rough, have been rough. So, like, this show came around and I'm like, "Ah,
A relief.
a weight off my shoulders."
Because it was starkly different from any of the previous ones that we had been watching. All the other ones were dark, so it was, like, contrastingly different.
This show came around at a time I needed it.
That's good, I'm glad it did.
Overall, we said this a couple times throughout this little wrap up. Very cute series. If this is up your alley, it's definitely up your alley.
If it's up your alley, it's definitely up your alley.
Mhm. I know what I said.
Okay.
If this is a show that you think you would enjoy, you're gonna enjoy it. Like, it checks all the boxes. Even if it, like, fake date is, like, not typically your thing, it's like, to be honest, it's not really mine a lot of the time. It's really formulaic, and this does follow the formula, but it's still cute. I would say give it a shot. It's worth it.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of The Stars Align Dramas and Dreams podcast, where we meet amongst the stars that illuminate the love stories that light up our universe and connect us all.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe, and share your stardust and thoughts with us. We'd love to hear your comments, favorite moments, or suggestions for what we should explore next.
You can connect with us in the comments or through our socials, as well as our email that are linked in the description below. Let's keep the conversation going under the stars.
Until next time, keep dreaming, keep listening, and remember, love always shines brightest under the cosmos.
Bye.
Bye.